Hi guys, I'm just going to give you an update on the timing of the rapture in a general sense in about 10 or 15 minutes. Matthew 24, Jesus mentioned kingdom against kingdom, wars, famines, pestilence, earthquakes, in diverse places, and he says all these are the beginning of sorrows, or it's better translated actually is beginning of birth pains. So those things have to happen first. Then it says after that will be martyred of the saints. It says you'll be afflicted, they'll kill you, hated by all nations, many false prophets, and then which actually those things all align to Revelations, the first 5 seals. They all line up. If you study it, you'll go through it. It does match wars, famines, death, pestilence. It's all mentioned in there. There's the 5th seal, the martyrs, slain for the word of God, the testimony which they held, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, "How long, O God, holy and true, does thou not judge and avenge our blood which dwell on the earth?" So here they're complaining. Notice they are under the altar, and it says they were given unto every one of them white robes. And that should waste a little time, so other people had to be killed first as well. And then the 6th seal, as you study that, you see that actually that lines up. That is a mid-tribulation event. You've got earthquake, the sun becomes black, and the moon is blood. That's mentioned many times in the Old Testament, and linked to the abomination of desolation many times in the Old Testament. You can follow that up and see my full detailed study for that. There you go, the stars of heaven fall to the earth. That's Revelations 12 right there. Fig tree, there's Israel. Heavens departed. That's all mentioned in many times in the Old Testament, where the atmosphere is, or the cloud gets rolled up. And then everyone hiding in the rocks. That's also mentioned in the Old Testament many times, in the mountains. For the wrath of the Lamb, they admitted it was the wrath of the Lamb, the great day of his wrath is come. So the day of the Lord, that's when it starts, the 6th seal. Numerous verses all line this up perfectly. See my detailed study for more. So that's a mid-tribulation event. And then you get the 144,000 sealed, yeah. And then just after that mid-tribulation event has started, and just in the early part of the Great Tribulation period, we have these people. Great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, kindreds of peoples and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes and palms in their hands. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, "Salvation to our God which sits upon the throne and unto the Lamb." They're giving glory and praise and honour. So it sounds this is a different category of people than the martyred saints under the altar. These seem to be much happier people. And the angel says, "Who are these who are arrayed in white robes, and where do they come from?" He said, "They which came out of great tribulation." So this is the great tribulation. So that's the second half of the 7-year tribulation period. Mid-tribulation is just after 3.5 years, and then the last 3.5 years, Great Tribulation. That says here, they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So they already had, it says here, it doesn't actually say they were given white robes, but they still had them. And it says here quite clearly that they had the white robes because they had been washed in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore they are before the throne of God, see, not under the altar, and serve him day and night in his temple. And they shall no more hunger, thirst, nor sun or any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and lead them unto living fountains of waters. So this is a different category of people. So if it's not the martyred saints, who is it? Notice it doesn't say anywhere here they were martyred. In the seal number 5 of the martyred saints, it clearly says they were martyred, and they were complaining for justice from God. But here there's no mention of those things at all. The only thing it mentions is they did suffer, obviously, hunger, thirst and heat. That's what they did suffer. no mention of martyrdom. If they were martyred, it would have absolutely and clearly mentioned it. Also, these people, it says here, that not only did they already have white robes, but they had palms in their hands as well, which is a sign of victory, as you know. And what victory over what? Victory over the earth. These are the raptured saints, because they got the victory. So this is a little bit hidden in the Bible, but nonetheless the information is there. As you can see it, it's right there. So in other words, the raptured saints happens in the early part of the Great Tribulation period, because it says that they came out of Great Tribulation. Therefore they must have entered into it for it to come out of it. So it wasn't directly a mid-tribulation rapture. It was the early part of the Great Tribulation rapture, just after that. I can give you the more accurate timing on that, but it's a little bit hidden, so I can't give you everything. But just to give you a general understanding here, this is when the timing of the rapture happens. There is a numerical number mentioned in the Old Testament and the New Testament that lines up even to the number of days after the mid-tribulation event, but I'm not going to mention that. You can find that out yourself if you want. And see my study if you want. Go to www.lasttrump.net if you want. Also see my video. More evidence of that. You might say, well, you got any more evidence? Yes, I do. Revelations 19:7, where it says, "Let us be glad and rejoice to give honour to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come." This is after the just prior before the Antichrist gets captured and the whole thing is ended. Obviously, at the end of the 7-year tribulation period, after all the judgments and trouble on the earth, it says here in the King James Version, "For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife has made herself ready." Notice the use of the word wife. This means she's already married. Most other versions of the Bible, or many of them, have a mistranslation. They use the word bride. No, it's wrong. This is incorrect. It's not bride, it's wife. The wording is completely different. In Greek is a very accurate language. You cannot tell me that a bride, unmarried woman is the same thing as a married woman. That's ridiculous. Absolutely wrong. So here's the word bride. There's the Greek. Gune is how you say it. We'll click on that. So that there is wrong. That should be written there, wife. This is using an NIV or something like that. Short definition: a woman, wife, my lady. That there is wrong. That's correct. It's all about married women. That's what it's about. It's not about. You cannot be both. It's one or the other. So, just a little more evidence. Wikipedia got here, the Greek word for bride is nymphe, as in Revelations 21:2. Let's go to 21:2. I'll show you. Saw the whole city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Notice it's not really the marriage here, but it's as if a marriage is taking place. It's a whole city as a bride. Now, that word there is nymphe, that is bride. So for her husband to be married, in a sense, it's like that. But it's not saying that is truly that's when the marriage takes place. No, because it's contradictory to what Revelations 19 we're reading before. This is not the same word used in Revelations 19:7, which is gune, which means wife, already married, and thus there are many Bible translations incorrectly translated this particular verse. I'll just prove to you a bit more that when the wife has made herself ready, that verse in the New Testament, it's saying that the marriage has actually already occurred, and now the marriage supper of the Lamb will take place. And if you know ancient Jewish weddings, that's the sequence of events: betrothal, contract, then consummation, the actual finalising the marriage, and then the marriage supper. There's a lot of places you can find the information It's there's no debate about it. Goes 3 C's: contract, consummation, then celebration. That's the standard ancient Jewish wedding practice, as in the Bible and in the Book of Revelations. It's all the same. They didn't change at that time. So it's extra proof of this. It says this is really a bit of a mistranslation. It should be saying the bride of him. The marriage of the Lamb has come, or surely has occurred would be a better translation, actually. And the bride has made herself ready. Obviously, the marriage, yeah. So this word here, has come. What is the tense? Is it past, present, or future? It's a past. It's particularly a past tense, actually. So the tense actually agrees with the word. That in the Greek, all of these things have to match. Otherwise, there'd be some problem. So this word here, Greek, has come. You can see the tense here. It says it's a verb, aorist, indicative, active. Well, not sure about the active part. Its own in the Greek, in a website regarding Greek tenses, goes right into the aorist tense. Aorist is said to be simple occurrence or simple occurrence with regard to the amount of time taken to accomplish the action. The tense is often referred to as the punctiliar tense. Punctiliar in this sense means viewed as a single collective whole, a one point in time action, although it may actually take place over a period of time. In the indicative mood, the aorist tense denotes action that occurred in the past time, often translated like the English simple past tense. For example, God made us alive together with Christ, and he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Christ. These are all. So basically, it's a past tense. Effectively, is what it's saying. It's not a imperfect tense where it may be past but also continuous, or a continuous action is a perfect tense. You can read about it here, newtestamentgreek.org. Some examples of this exact word. So I'm going to look at this exact word, has come, in other Matthew 24:39. Alright, that's exactly the same. There's no difference. That one and that one, it's talking about the flood that happened already in the past. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away, moreover will be the coming of the Son of Man. So it's talking about that. It's a past event that did happen. I mean, you can look at, there's literally 90 examples of that same Greek word, 90 occurrences, and basically they're all past tense. There's a few there that can also be past and maybe present, but definitely all the ones that I could see were all past tense. For example, in the Gospels, obviously they're writing the Gospels after these events happened, not during or when it happened, so they're recounting a previous event. The Son of Man came eating. She came from, his enemy came, he came. This is all past tense. For John came to you, blah, 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 blah. So basically, it is past tense, and it agrees with the understanding of the bride of Christ, actually, that she will actually, by the time Christ comes at the end of the 7-year tribulation on white horses, the wife, the bride of Christ will already have been married and become the wife. So that this word there is wrong. It's not bride, it's wife. Only the King James Version seems to have got that right, basically. It's pretty sad, really. But anyway. Okay, so there's a bit of an example for you. It can't really be argued against. So let's go back and read the whole thing in context again. Marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife, married bride, has made herself ready. Ready for what? For the marriage? No. Ready for the marriage supper. And she was granted that she be arrayed in fine linen and clean and white. So, and also fine linen and clean and white is also mentioned exactly here. The armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. It's the same thing. So in other words, the bride of Christ follows Christ himself to finish off the evildoers at the end of the tribulation period. That's why she had to get ready. She obviously get dressed to do battle, in a sense. Yeah, so I thought you might find that interesting. Cheers.